What are the different types of models available for Ollama? When you look at the various lists of models available at ollama.com, you'll see there are plenty of different types of models that you could possibly download. We see these in the names for the specific downloads. There's a chat model, a text model, Instruct, Code, Base, Vision, Embedding, and more. Welcome back to the Ollama Course. This is a free course available here on this YouTube channel that'll teach you everything you need to know about how to use Ollama to run artificial intelligence models locally on your laptop, on your computer, or even up on an instance that you own up in the cloud. If you find this content interesting, be sure to subscribe to ensure you see the next entry in the course when it comes out. Now, some folks have asked if this is going to be a bait and switch type of course, where I get you hooked on the concept and then force you to paid platform for the more advanced stuff. That is not my intent. I'm making these videos because I love the platform and because I want to grow my YouTube channel. I'm in this for the long haul and not just to make a quick buck at some point, because there are no quick bucks on YouTube. I'd like to assure you that this course is genuinely free, with no hidden costs or fees. So let's get back to it. When you're newer to this world of AI, it can be difficult to know which model is the right one for you to be using. So let's just spend a few minutes looking at the different types and what they're for, and why they're a bit different from each other. At a high level, the different models can be dropped into two main buckets. Well, maybe a third one for a special case. Let's take care of that special case first, embedding models. We've already discussed embeddings in this course, so you know what you end up with when you use these models. These are much smaller models than the rest and are specifically for creating embedding vectors that you can use in other places like in vector stores. The two main buckets are for the source models that researchers spend most of their time creating, and then the second for the fine-tunes or models trained on specific ways to respond to questions. Let's tackle this source bucket first. These models are given categories like text or base. They've been trained on a large collection of knowledge, but aren't going to respond well to a question. Large language models, in general, are designed to see a sequence of words and then predict the next word, and then keep looping that process, predicting the next word, and the next word, and so on, and so on, and so on. In some cases, base and text can possibly have different meanings, but generally they're the same thing. If I give it a phrase of once upon a time there was a, it would try to complete the sentence and maybe the story. A prince, a maiden, an ogre might come next. But if you asked a question like, why is the sky blue? You're likely to get a response that continues the question rather than answers it. And when does it become a different color? To get an answer to a question, you need to use the models that fit into the other bucket. These are the ones that are fine-tuned to receive input using a specific format and respond accordingly. Usually, these are the chat and instruct models. You can see the format they accept by looking at the template in any Ollama model. Normally, you don't need to worry about the template. You ask a question, and Ollama will put the prompt into the right place in the template. Chat and instruct models may seem like they're doing the same thing, but there are some differences in most cases. Instruct models are usually designed to follow instructions based on a single prompt. Chat models, on the other hand, are generally designed for more free-form conversations, where you can ask multiple questions and have a back-and-forth dialogue. That said, instruct models will often work well when used with a back-and-forth dialogue as well. Another model that fits into this bucket is referred to as a code model. This is mostly about being trained with a different template. Specifically, this is a template that expects some text at the beginning and then more text at the end. All of that is code that is before and after your cursor. And then the model tries to figure out the right code to go in the middle. Based on the syntax of the code provided, it knows whether you're dealing with Python or JavaScript or something else. Sometimes you can direct the code generation by specifying a comment immediately before the cursor that says what you want. Depending on the context size and the amount of code you've been able to give it, the generated code may look more or less like what you've been writing thus far. One of the best examples of this kind of model outside of Ollama has been GitHub Copilot, though Tab 9 predates it by some years. These tools felt like magic for developers. But the smaller context meant it looked like generic code samples were added to your code rather than generating specific code based on your writing style. Chat and Instruct models don't have to worry about this as much because you're typically having a new conversation with the model when using them, and that conversation is in a new window rather than extending a text that you're currently writing. The other model that I mentioned is a vision model. This is also referred to as a multi-modal model. Multi-modal means that it accepts text and it accepts some other modality. In the case of Ollama in 2024, that modality is an image. Maybe in the future it'll also accept a video. There are other models that aren't currently supported by Ollama that may accept other formats as well, such as audio. Usually, with the vision models, you need to provide the image as a base 64 encoded image, which the model can work with. Then you provide some instruction and the model can describe that aspect of the image. There are many other types of models as well, such as speech to text and text to speech, but these are all variations that are not currently supported by Ollama. Who knows what tomorrow brings, but if others gain support, I'll create a video about them. Now hopefully that clarifies the different types of models available for Ollama, and then next time you visit Ollama.com looking for a new model, you'll have a better idea of which model to grab. Thanks so much for watching this video in the free Ollama course. There'll be another video coming out in the next week, and you'll learn something else about how to use Ollama. Goodbye.